Look, Bobby. To me, this is just an excuse to play Sir Bront. I don't actually care if people watch me or not. Um, but last night, I was talking to Tom Luongo on the Old Glory Club channel, and he kind of he had such an interesting angle as to what's happening right now that I actually completely believe it, because it was kind of the fulfillment of everything I've been listening to from Christopher Sandbach and from other individuals, is that what's going on right now actually is just British foreign policy, basically. And America is kind of the useful idiots that were stapled onto the British Empire, and the greatest, you know, where'd that come from?
It's Discord sounds. I just accidentally discovered them. That was very poignant.
but but no, no, it makes sense that the British Empire never really fell, and it's now kind of like this weird sort. The deep state, quote unquote, is just the British Empire, um, and the great game with Russia has never stopped. It never
Mm.
ended, and the Ukraine war is just the next continuation, because the British Empire's foreign policy is the Mackinder Island thesis, and it's like, what is it? He who controls Eastern Europe controls the world island. He who controls the world island controls. Wait a minute, I don't know. He who controls Eastern Europe. I don't know how it goes, but it's like basically the
He
whole.
who controls Eastern Europe controls the world's supply of autism and alcohol.
Yeah, but the whole point is that it's like the British the British's whole foreign policy is based around kind of containing or keeping under control the world island, which is, in other words, Russia, which they believe is the key to world dominance. And they're wrong. I don't think Russia. There's no such thing as a world island. You know, but this is what their foreign policy is. And so everything has basically been about trying to keep the world island under the control of, like, they call it the Five Eyes or the Commonwealth now. But the British Empire never really ended. Um, the parts of it that were beneficial to white people just ended, you know?
Mm.
Um,
And they became beneficial to whom? The demons?
well, I mean, you have to understand this, Bobby. The British Empire, at the Battle of Waterloo, basically at the Battle of Waterloo, the British Empire kind of became financially under the control of the Rothschild family after the Napoleonic Wars. Um,
Oh,
hmm.
I don't know. That seems the Rothschilds. That's what do you?
Hmm.
It's like a stereotypical conspiracy.
It is, but the thing is it's like
Yeah,
what's not stereotypical is fitting it in to this line of thinking, because
I guess.
Bobby, I don't know, maybe you're just unimpressed by all of this, but I'm a
No, it's
fucking.
just it's weird, right? Like that this idea that the British Empire never stopped existing, but like I don't know, people died. Like there isn't some immortal like North FC emperor of England kind, right? Of Anglo kind that sits upon his golden porcelain throne and like gives commands. It's the same reason why, like, when my dad is like, "Oh, the Soviet Union never ended. It's the same people there in power. It's the same, like, it's just the same country. It's the same, like, communism or something." Like, you can point to the McDonald's in the center of Moscow,
Well,
or just like a normal Russian. Like if you go up to a Russian in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and you ask him a bunch of questions, you will get more or less the same answers as like in America. Although people will be higher. learnedness, higher, maybe higher IQ even, where they could like tell you about the Napoleonic Wars,
Mm-hmm.
or they could tell you about some literature,
Mm-hmm.
or they could like explain something. But or like they would be better at math, of course, because like that's
Yeah.
the one thing that all Russian kids say that is very easy in Western schools is math. But man, math has always been impossible for me. You know, it's like my education stops at sixth grade elementary. So yeah, pretty much everything other than that is just like it's the sticks. It's Stygian. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah. Yeah, good morning. There's some people watching you. Did you post it on Twitter? Did you post it
Oh
on
yeah.
Telegram?
I posted on Telegram. I'll post it on Twitter.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Did you see that you got 25 new subscribers on your YouTube channel since we started doing this?
I think so. Yeah, and I mean, shit, man. I'm not playing this game for the cloud. I'm playing this game
Yeah. Yeah.
because I wanna play this game, and I'm not letting
Yeah.
myself play the game outside of this stream.
But the
Um,
cloud helps you keep doing what you're doing. It's sort of it's a proof of importance. You know,
yeah. Hold on.
it's
Let me
yeah.
post
Go
it real
ahead.
quick.
Go ahead, and then we'll start.
Yeah. For those of you just joining us, we're doing this on Friday instead of on Saturday because tomorrow I have to take a trip. I'm talking very quietly because people in my house are still sort of waking up. Don't wanna be too loud, but I'm trying to sneak this in. It'll be probably a little bit shy of 2 hours. On the because I gotta go to work after this stream is done. Yes, Wagey Paul has to go to work after this is done. But posted it on Telegram, posted it on Twitter. All right, we're gonna keep going with
Wonderful.
John Milton disappoints his parents by not getting into college.
But youth finally was 16.
Yes, Bobby, for the first little bit of the stream, I'm gonna have to ask that I know you're a little bit behind, but I'm gonna have to ask that you read
Wonderful. I'll do it.
these things for me.
Yeah. So, the city that never sleeps. The next few weeks pass by in hard work and preparation for the coming entrance exam at the Imperial College. You grow more and more exhausted with each passing day, so much so that one night you fall asleep while studying another book. When you finally come to, you decide it is high time to get some recreation outside. The city of Eterna amazes you as you stroll through its splendid streets. It is another night, a different night, yet the city is beautiful still. The shining pillar is a slice of light against the dark night sky. The lamps on the facades of the buildings are lit. Night descends on the capital. You don't feel like going back to your books tonight. Recently, you made the acquaintance of several young men. They are children of nobles of the mantle, just like you, sent to the capital to earn their noble titles at the college. You decide to seek them out. Your new friends are having a late dinner on the next street over, loudly discussing their plans for the night. Some speak eagerly of a dueling club where you can see the most skilled and ardent duelers in the Empire doing what they do best. You have never seen professional duels fight. It must be far more exciting than father's fencing lessons or that fight in the ruins in Anizote. And if luck favors you, perhaps you can make useful contacts among the noble families of the capital. The others try to convince the rest to take this to a certain secret salon. The establishment is expecting guests tonight. They say, a young lady who speaks about the true state of affairs in the empire. There are many questions about the nature of the place and identity of the mysterious speaker, but the young men have only one answer. They are forbidden to speak about this outside the club. However, they can take you there as long as you aren't afraid to learn a dangerous truth. There are others still, drinking their fill of wine rather than eating. Fencing? They say. Speeches? Nonsense. The place you ought to go tonight, they claim, is the Markian Society, a gathering for those of common estate but uncommon opinions that offers pleasures for everyone. Pleasures of the palate, pleasures of the drink, pleasures of the flesh. Is this not heresy and a crime? Perhaps. And yet some of your newfound friends are eager to go there. In the end, your group splits in 3 to spend the night as they see fit. What it'll be? A contest featuring the best fencers in Eterna, an establishment both mysterious and dangerous, or an encounter with people who defy their lot with audacity. You weigh your options.
Alright, so John Milton ain't gonna do this. And to be honest, I don't think we're at the evil be thou my good phase yet. Although,
oh man, the Markian Society is very interesting, but I don't know. Was John Milton part of the Masons or something? No, right?
Well,
he was never part of any
I don't think the
secret
Masons
society.
existed at the beginning of. Hold on, let's Google it. Was John Milton a Freemason?
Well, he lived in the 17th century. Masonry was already rife in France at the time. Honestly, his painting kind of looks Habsburgian. Was he a Habsburg?
John Milton?
Yeah.
No.
No, well, look at his painting. I'm telling you, that looks like the jaw of a very unmixed man. Or I guess the. I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad painting. Bad portrait.
Milton believes some weird things about Christianity, though. He believed. So there's a disagreement in Protestant Christianity, Bobby, especially in the Low Church, Puritan-esque, Calvinist, Reformed, Baptist tradition. I know the Calvinists hate it when I associate them with Baptists, but it sucks because you guys are going to be associated. Which is the idea that some people say when you die, you are present with God in heaven until the last day when your body is resurrected. Others say when you die, you're just dead until Christ resurrects your soul.
Oh, wait, so like some people, so some don't believe in heaven or hell.
Well, it's not that they don't believe in heaven. They just don't believe, they don't believe anyone goes there until the day of judgment, until they are resurrected. Like that, and that's not. They don't necessarily deny this. Okay, my roommate's gone, so I can talk a little bit more now. But they don't deny the soul. They don't say that the soul doesn't exist. They simply just the idea is it's called soul sleeping or mortalism. It's like when you die, you simply just kind of go to sleep. You kind of cease. I don't want to say you cease to exist, but you cease to perceive existence until the last day when you are resurrected, and then you are judged, and then you enter heaven. But then the more mainline view is that no, when you die, you're spiritually present in heaven with God if you believed in Christ Jesus. And then when the day of judgment comes around, you are then put back into your body. You are given a new body, a perfect body that doesn't age. And this is this kind of overlaps with Dr. Ray Peat. Dr. Ray Peat, in his studies on the human body, said, "I have found no reason why the human body should age. There's no
Mm.
biological reason why it should age." And this is
His
why,
name is Ray Peat.
yes, Dr. Ray Peat. He's big amongst the esoteric right wing health scene. Um,
Mm.
and he has all these weird esoteric health tips. Some people have employed them and they say it's actually improved their life tenfold. He was the guy who popularized glycine, a bunch of other weird things that for women and babies and stuff like that. But
He
Doc,
invaded a carrot salad.
yes, he did. Yeah, the carrot salad that kind of clears out your digestive tract, and but yeah, Dr. Ray Peat, he kind of held this, that there's no reason why the human body should be mortal, because in terms of all of its functions, there's no reason it can't replicate itself permanently. And a lot of people point to the pituitary gland as the reason that we kind of grow old and die. And this is a land shark take. Are Bulgarians Slavs, or are they like some weird Tatar? What do you consider
Oh,
them?
so it's kind of weird. Bulgarian also has like Italians in them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, there's some weird stuff like in the weird words from Italy, but ooh, I have to look at the geography, but I'm not sure. So go
So,
ahead.
well, I was about to say your fellow Slav land shark, who is a famous poster on Twitter. He had this
Hey,
take that
oh, should you mean V?
I
Because V is Romanian.
yeah, V's Romanian, but land shark is a whole different dude.
I thought you were using land shark as like a euphemism for something.
No, land
Like,
shark is his name. He's a
okay,
He's a
good.
Bulgarian medical student. And he had this take about this particular aspect of Dr. Ray Peat. And he said that what is it, that God, one of God's punishment for when God, when the fall happens, God's punishment for mankind is to grow old and die and toil the earth. Um, and so I think that you could actually find traces of that biologically, with the pituitary gland forcing us to grow old and die. But anyway, I'm kind of way off topic here. But John Milton didn't believe in that. John Milton believed that, and this is just his weirdo views, that when you die, and you're dead until Christ comes back. And so anyway, Bobby, that's just a I don't know what the Orthodox Church thinks about that, but this is what the what some low church Calvinists disagree upon. They disagree on some other things too, but whether or not you go to heaven between your death and the resurrection on the judgment day.
Hmm. And what did Milton believe? Did he believe that we just stayed like in limbo until like God resurrected us?
So this is actually what started the whole thing. Milton believes the less popular view that when you die, and you're
Hmm.
dead until God resurrects you. It's kind of like anyway. There's all sorts of you can't do
Okay.
this. You can't do this, Bobby.
It's very loud. I did not expect it to be this fucking loud.
You
Yeah,
can't do this to me.
so yeah, the sounds.
So
I was like, well, Milton, but that's not really like strange. That's just a more Jewish, um, like Jewish way of thinking. There is the like Jews don't have heaven, right? They have like hell or something, but.
well, it borders on heretical. I don't know if you could necessarily call it heretical, but it's really close to it.
It's highly interpretive
Yeah,
interpretative.
it's definitely heterodox for sure, but it doesn't necessarily deny the Trinity or anything like that. So I'm not super worried about it. But Bobby,
Hmm.
so basically this is the equivalent of the Freemasons, all right? Um, this is like political plotting. It's not a very
Highly gnostic.
yeah. It's not a very RNG move to do this, but
Of course, secret salon because the dueling club, Milton's blind. He can't go to the dueling club. He can't go to the Markan Society because he's not a Freemason. He has to go to the secret salon.
then we will do that.
He smells a familiar smell coming from the
The
secret
secret
salon.
salon is an unremarkable wooden building down an alleyway a few blocks from the great temple of the twins. A couple of tough, taciturn fellows at the door eye you suspiciously. Their faces are obscured by hoods. One of your newfound friend nods to them, and you are allowed inside. The inner rooms are stuffy and overcrowded. All the partitions have been removed to make room for more people. There is a raised platform next to one of the walls, perhaps a stage. There are benches all around. They are occupied by people of the common estate, most of them modestly dressed. They are artisans, tinkers, street vendors, students, yet you see that some of them are wealthy and impeccably dressed.
Wouldn't it be tinkerers or would it be tinkers?
I mean, no, so in English both words are used, and both words are used to describe a similar thing, but a tinker is a profession, I think, and a tinkerer is a hobby or something like that,
Got it.
A mop-headed young man dressed like a low-ranking clerk appears on the stage. He claps to attract the public's attention. When the house goes quiet, he reads a series of pamphlets condemning the Supreme... Okay, this was the Milton choice. Word pamphlet present. This is the Milton choice. He reads a series of pamphlets condemning the supreme authorities of the empire and their obsolete rule. A group of young men appear on the stage next, their faces covered in blue paint. They perform a derisive play entitled A Day in the Life of the Tempests. The performances are many, but their goal is always the same. They all claim the empire is stuck in the past and has to change. Then, finally, after another voice of accusation, a young girl appears on the stage and the crowd immediately goes silent. This is her, the mysterious guest they were talking about. You look at her from the crowd. You see short black hair, a slender figure, and those familiar shining eyes.
Oh, look at that! It's the waifu.
Brothers and sisters, you all came to this place because deep in your hearts you know. It's Sophia, the girl who used to live next door. She's grown so much since you've last seen her, but what is she doing here? But before Sophia even finishes her first sentence, a short man in a shabby jacket jumps up onto the stage. He flashes a badge and screams at the crowd, "Nobody move! You're all under arrest as accomplices to an insurrection against the Empire!" Imperial gendarmes barge into the house. Swords and crossbows glint in the dim light. First there is confusion, then panic. Screams of fear and outrage fill the hall. Sophia is already gone. You can barely hear the cries demanding that you stay where you are. People start pushing against the gendarmes, against the doors, against the windows. The din is deafening. Only one thought remains in your mind. You have to run. Run away as fast as you can. You push your way to the furthest window in the hall. A hand grabs you by the sleeve of your jacket. You pry it off without looking and keep pushing forward. The expensive jacket starts to tear at the shoulder. The window frame breaks and falls outside. You drop down after it. Shards of glass bite into your hands, but you barely feel the pain. You will have time to feel it later, but you need to run. You run and dodge and weave through the alleyway before finally heading for the lodging house. Your heart is racing. Your hands are shaking. Blood is dripping from the cuts on your arms. You have no idea what happened to the people who were arrested. Finally, you reach your room and collapse onto the bed. You are safe from pursuit, but not from anxiety. What was Sophia going to say? How did she end up here in the capital after she escaped? Was she arrested too? There are too many questions, but you have no way to answer them. Eventually, you drift off into restless sleep.
Well, we got feted. Someone discovered the group chat.
So true.
But, well, here's the question for you. Like CIA, FBI, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did those things exist in, like, I don't know, 17th century America?
No. As a matter of fact, the FBI wasn't established until 1920.
But I mean, like, secret services. Like, what's the story of secret services in America?
I mean, the idea of an intelligence agency, the whole concept of intelligence itself, Bobby, kind of comes into being with the. So the British have the first one, right? The British have the first dedicated intelligence service. But like, Before that, it was just kind of the idea of individual spies, and like you had a spy master and stuff like that, but it wasn't like a dedicated like information gathering service, because it was back in the age of Pisces when information was just so like it wasn't at all widespread, and so you didn't have a need of intelligence services, because information was just like the any information that was relevant to you, you could just have one or two guys pick it up and share it with you. But as the age of Pisces gives way to the age of Aquarius in the 20th century, more and there just starts becoming too much information to keep track of. And so intelligence services starting like dedicated intelligence services with analysts, with field agents, with different aspects of intelligence gathering. That starts really only in the 20th century. But there are precedents to it. For example, after the Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant starts the U.S. Secret Service, which is a subsidiary of the Treasury Department, actually, because they do two things. The Secret Service are known as the bodyguards of the president and of various congressmen and stuff like that. But they're also they do one other thing, which is they track counterfeit money.
Hmm.
Because
Well,
they're
wasn't counterfeit money? Counterfeit money. Oh, what the fuck? Counter. Can you say counterfeit money?
counterfeit money.
Counterfeit money. Ugh. Okay, so counterfeit money. Wasn't that an issue in the like ancient world as well?
It was, and it was also an issue in the late 19th century, after the Civil War, because the U.S. was moving to a standardized greenback currency. One currency across the entire United States wasn't really a thing until after the Civil War. Before that, yes, you had like U.S. dollars, but you also had like state dollars, and like different banks would issue their own banknotes. So you could take $1 from like one bank and take it to another bank, and it was like a 50-50 chance of whether or not. So basically, Bobby, fanged noumena after the Civil War ensured one unified currency for the entire United States. Before that, it was dozens of currencies. And so one of the issues was people would counterfeit this greenback dollar, and no one really knew the difference. And counterfeiting isn't so much a problem anymore, because the Federal Reserve, which now controls the printing of all paper dollars, prints money with just in such a special way and with so many special markings that it's almost I don't want to say it's almost impossible, but it's virtually impossible to counterfeit.
Well, yeah, unless you're like some junkie that's selling drugs to another junkie, it's going to be hard to fake money.
Yeah, because they've got all these watermarks and these like secret like
Yep.
inks and all this other stuff. So, and I work in banking, so like this is I can tell you for a fact I have never once seen a counterfeit bill. Now, the big thing now is check fraud, but anyway, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna get into that little bit of autism, but the idea of an intelligence service, Bobby, the FBI was established as a law enforcement agency. They're not really an intelligence agency. They're a law enforcement agency, and they were established in the 20s to hunt down when the United States illegalized alcohol because women basically walked up everywhere and be like, we want you to illegal, ugly women, by the way, we're like ugly Baptist women, were like, we want you to legalize alcohol, also give us the vote because we don't want Negroes voting. And we did, and we kept.
And look where it brought us
Well,
to.
actually, it was great. It was absolutely great. It was totally necessary, because it allowed in the 1920s the passage of some of the most restrictive American immigration acts that had ever been passed. And America was like comically racist, which is hilarious. But of course, Ellis Islanders and all that other stuff after the war in '65 brought the whole system down. But I digress. The CIA wasn't created until after the Second World War. The CIA was an evolution of the OSS, which was created during the war, because the World War II, even more so than World War One, World War One had some nascent organization, and nascent sort of espionage activities like this, but it wasn't like a super organized like secret war until the Second World War, when OSS was the one doing most of the fighting, and you have the beginnings of like what would become known as special forces, which leads us into the Cold War, which was just nothing but a secret war. But anyway, yeah. So although you have like like what is it like the idea an inquisitorial type institution has existed for as long as organized. Caesar, of course, had the frumentarii, the collectors of wheat, who kind of served as his own secret police. Bobby, secret police has existed in biopunk societies. The Inquisition, both the Venetian and the Spanish and other things like
Well,
that.
well, if there are natural priests, have you ever seen a natural Fed?
Yes, I I
Yes.
I grew up in Northern Virginia, which is basically it's like where feds are born and raised and farmed. The entirety of Northern Virginia exists entirely just to staff the federal government. like that's so yes, Bobby, I have seen more than my fair share of natural feds, and some people even say that I talk like and act like a natural fed. And I'm trying to provincialize myself a little bit to keep them from thinking that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'll confess, I made a few, well, inside of myself, I have made a few jokes about you being a Fed,
of
but I
course.
haven't told them to anyone. I was like, well, I don't know what made me say that. I just thought about it.
I mean, it's dude. Look, it's the way I talk. It's the jokes I make. It's the things I talk about. Um, the
But I think
joke
Sandbatch is the most Feddy of everyone.
he can't be.
Uh,
No, he's no. I don't agree with that. And just because I know some things, but I have met people I kind of keep an eye on. I'm like, well, if any of you would be an informant, it's probably you. But I'm not doing anything illegal, so I'm just going to be very nice with you. And this
I,
is
yeah.
this is IRL meetups and stuff like that. So it's like look, they're watching you. They're watching you. They know they're watching you. Just they can't. That's all they can do is watch you. They can't like
Mm.
reach out and touch you as easily as you think they can, at least in the United States. In Europe, where you have no rights, they can do whatever the fuck they want. But in the United States, we still ostensibly have protection.
Sometimes have
I
rights.
mean, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So and that's why I love my country. But
Mm.
anyway,
Yeah.
you are
All right.
on you are
Let's.
on your way to the largest library in Eterna to study for your entry exams. It is right next to the college. We're going to law school, Bobby. The streets are
Mm.
full of people. Everybody is excited. You hesitate for a few seconds, then let your curiosity get the better of you and head towards the place where you will soon study. Before you hear the shouting, the great chancellor is about to give a speech about the future of the empire. You cannot possibly miss this. You mix with the crowd and soon find a convenient place to listen and watch what is about to unfold. On the steps of the college, you see a small tribune guarded by two Archnians armed with swords. This is the first time you have ever seen an Archnian standing guard, let alone two of them. The doors of the college open to reveal a stately Archnian surrounded by an honor guard. It is he, Cornelius Tempest, great chancellor of the empire, younger brother to the emperor himself. He heads for the tribune and casts a look over the square. It is full of people in awe and utter silence. Long ago, humans witnessed the Archnians' arrival. Two nations built the empire side by side. The provinces joined us one by one, and Magra was the final province to attain the absolute might and majesty of the blessed Archnean Empire. Yet there was another great event long before that. 1,000 years ago, the twins had graced us with their presence. With their arrival, the twins granted us their will. They showed us their love and their law, and they granted us knowledge of what awaits us in the hereafter. They chose the dynasty of Tempest to rule the empire, and from that day forth our dynasty has ruled this land, ordained by the gods themselves. However, it is our duty to the twins not to seek power for power's sake, but rather to lead the empire to further prosperity. And so the great imperial council is soon to review and adopt a set of laws called the Creed. Under the Creed, all estates will be granted rights. Under the Creed, there will be one law for all imperial citizens to obey, human or Archnean, from the lowliest commoner to the emperor himself. You can see they're introducing more fanged Numina, Bobby. The idea of no man above the law is another centralizing tendency. Very Protestant tendency too. Small aside, I was finishing. I'm gonna keep reading this, but I was finishing watching Cromwell earlier this yesterday evening, and
Watching Cromwell?
yeah, the movie Cromwell.
Oh,
There was
okay.
a it was a great. This was back in the golden age of great historical epics, and it was 1970, I think. It was like the 60s, 70s. Yeah, it was the 60s and the 70s mostly when they did these great historical epics. That's when they make Zulu, Waterloo. Waterloo was famously filmed in Russia. They took a whole Soviet infantry division and trained them in Napoleonic tactics and costumed them so they could be Napoleon's army. And it's a great movie. And they don't really make them anymore like that because this was before CGI when they had you see a man that's an extra. Barry Lyndon's another one. But all these great historical epics, and there's a scene coming towards the end of Cromwell, the trial of King Charles, when this sort of question that's hanging on everyone's heads is, can a king even be tried? Is a king even above the law? Is a king above the law? Can a king be charged with a crime? And I mean, I don't know if that question was ever legally answered. Some people say yes. Other people say
Can a
that.
king you? Maybe the king needs to be tried by kingly court, something like that.
Well,
Like,
it's more of just like it's like the buck has to stop somewhere. Is the idea that they're talking about? Someone has to be sovereign. Can you try the sovereign? And the United States has a sovereign, but it's not a living person. It is a piece of paper. That is the sovereign of the United States. The Constitution is the king of the United States, which is why every American kind of talks about it with awe and reverence. But in England always has a living king, and so that I guess in England, even though they did chop off King Charles's head, they didn't legally answer the question. As a matter of fact, I don't think they can because England's whole system, whole coding ceases to exist without a king. Anyway, I digress, Bobby. The strife among the estates will end. A single law will resolve all of our quarrels. Glory to the empire.
glory to the
The
empire.
great chancellor throws his arms into the air. The crowd murmurs and applauds in approval. Cornelius Tempest casts another look over the crowd and leaves. The crowd disperses. The sounds of agitated discussion are everywhere. Is it true that the emperor's dynasty seeks to grant equal rights to all estates? What will happen to the empire then? And there's the power of the empire is just fallen, and there's a struggle. Bobby, I'll be right back. I gotta get another cup of coffee, but this should be an interesting one.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
because
I'll
it's
be
going
back.
to involve Sophia.
Yeah, I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Bruh.
Huh?
Mr. Bobby, I am back.
Yeah, like this. Paul will be right back after receiving a dose of lifeblood.
Yes, Paul, I have to go. I have to go take my adrenochrome for the day. It's what keeps me perpetually young. I am in fact a member of the elite. Um, all right. So the girl from your past, Bobby, the girl from our past. It's early morning. You have been awake since sunrise, studying. There is a knock at the door. Is it a
Yeah,
letter from?
what is Milton studying today?
Well, Milton's probably studying about how he can fuck up the world even more. He's figuring out what kind of evil Luciferian magic can I put into this poem that I'm writing. That's what he's studying.
Hmm. I thought he was studying law.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, what's the difference?
By the way, do you think that lawyers are like evil? There are some American Christians that believe that lawyers are like are evil.
Well, Bobby,
What do you think?
seeing as how I'm studying for my law school entrance exams right now, I don't think I can answer that question. um,
Okay.
well, I mean, Jesus hated lawyers, but then again, a couple of his disciples were lawyers. You know, I think
Hmm.
it was either Matthew. Matthew was a tax collector, I know that, but I think he was also a lawyer. I could be wrong, but you know, God. The thing is I think lawyers that purposely obfuscate the law for their own personal benefit are evil, yes, but otherwise lawyers are just like any other profession. They're the person who is there to who knows the law best, who believes in the law, and who is meant to play their role in having the law function properly. So you know the Bible has entire books named after judges. What is a judge but a sovereign lawyer? You know, um,
Hmm.
so I don't think lawyers are evil, Bobby. I think I think it's a profession where evil people tend to congregate. Um, Now finance, on the other hand, big man. I mean,
Well, it depends what kind of finance, but there's
yeah,
definitely some horrible, evil finance. And I think maybe um, you know, I don't know, like what's evil, the financial manipulations. But I mean, there's some, like for example, arbitrage. Is that really evil? Arbitrage is like basically anything. You get something, you buy it for a specific amount of money, and then sometime later you sell it for some other specific amount of money.
yeah. No,
I mean, maybe you
that's just being a merchant. You know, that's
well,
just
not always. I mean, if you spend your forces, if you spend the food that you've consumed as in calories to mine out a bit of gold, and then you sell it for more than what you've spent it on. Oh, fuck. Okay, 1 second. um,
you sell it for a higher price
yeah, you
than
sell it for a higher price.
than you spent on it. That's just
Absolutely.
arbitrage. Well, I mean, and and you know, in my mind, Bobby, that's what being a merchant is. It's like you know,
Yeah.
merchant is a state of becoming. It's not like a profession. You know, merchant is a
Mm.
perpetual state of becoming. It's really being a merchant is just being a glorified messenger. You know, even if like you know the calories expended, but in my mind, everything equals out. You are, and this may just be the Calvinist for me, but like good and bad perfectly balanced. So if you expend those labors and calorie and you sold that gold for a higher monetary price, well, that's the compensation for you spending the time, effort, and energy. But I don't think you ever get more than what you put into something in terms of effort, in terms of creativity, in terms of something like that. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Mm.
Like, and this is getting into conversations of alchemy. which is the real English worldview. But
Everything from nothing.
everything from it, it's not so much everything from nothing. It's just more of like, it's like, what is it? It's transforming one thing into another thing. It's what were all of the kings obsessed with alchemy, turning lead into gold. And they didn't realize that they actually got it, but they got it vis-a-vis not the physical transformation of lead into physical gold itself, but the ability to create industries where lead was more valuable than gold.
The ability to make people believe that lead was gold.
It's not even making people believe. It's like creating machines and things like that required things other than gold. So anyway, I'm not gonna. Oh man, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But
so chemistry is English. Well, how come Russians are so good at chemistry?
it's because the Russians and the English are in fact the same people, Bobby.
No, lies, lies, heresy.
No, I think it's because that the geopolitical situation of the world is now what it's been since the Great Game. It's just the competition of the only two empires that have ever mattered: the Russian Empire and the British Empire. Also, the only two Christian empires from their genesis, from their beginning.
Wow. I mean, it's weird, Russian Christianity, right? Because Russia was what, 632? Prince Rurik came to Moscow or Kiev, and then and then the Russians asked him to rule over them. But they were seemingly pagan. They had the totem poles, and they had the Wotan, and they had the white god. They had Chernobog, black god.
They didn't call him Wotan though. They called him.
Bielabog.
Yeah, Gillabog. Yeah.
Bielabog. It means white god.
And they didn't call him Thor.
Literally,
they
if you had white god, you had black god.
They didn't call him Thor. They called him a Perun.
Perun. Yeah, exactly. Or I guess it would be Perun. But they. I heard that there were some wars of conversion, but I'm not. Russia has always been comfortably situated in a specific niche in Christianity. If you go to a Russian church, what's the Russian monster that's just a house with chicken legs? It's not exactly a monster. It's Baba Yaga's house, and the ancient pagans apparently used this to store corpses, or to basically make the corpses decompose, or to burn the corpses, or to let the corpses be eaten by birds, as in the Astro-Aryanism, I think it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I... Paul?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is it called Astro-Aryanism?
I have no idea. This is beyond my area of expertise.
When the bird's eating the corpse.
Oh, Zoroastrianism.
Zoroastrianism, yeah. well, yeah. Zoroastrianism. The Baba Yaga's house is called in Russian the Избушка на куриных ножках, which is the little house on chicken legs. And yeah, it was so you clearly had some influence, right? But if once again look at it in practice, what is Russian Orthodoxy? Despite all the weird beliefs, despite I think scriptural differences, or even there's some ritual differences. There's dates change, but if you go there in practice, what does it look like? Looks like Christianity. So it probably is.
Yeah. Personally, I just think
Well, what do you think?
Personally, I think I myself am a confessing Christian. I don't know about yourself, Bobby, but I believe Christianity is like the truth. It's not a religion; it is simply the truth. You know, and because it is the truth, you're obviously going to find imperfect reflections of the truth pretty much everywhere because it's this all permeating thing. You were talking about how a couple of streams ago that when Christianity came to Japan, um, that it was so hard for them to accept it because they immediately recognized its truth that their 2,000 years of paganism just meant nothing in comparison.
Yeah, and I mean it wasn't the case for Russians, even though
Mm-hmm.
they've also had like what, like 600 years of paganism, and they did not get this sort of trauma that the Japanese clearly have now. Like their society is clearly having some terrible problems with birth rates, with like religion, with city planning, like space, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Americans think that the biggest problem the Japanese people suffer from is their lack of centralization. That because Yakuza and the police and the government, they are all their own entities that work in tandem with each other. Sometimes they differ in opinions, but it's an anti-fragile governing systems. Like Americans think that that's a really bad thing. They instantly equate it to corruption, but once again in practice, uh, their society looks much more civilized than even the Russian society, but they have these horrible problems they can't seem to solve.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
okay, well, let's go ahead. The girl from your
Yes,
past.
the girl from our past. It is early morning. You've been awake since sunrise studying law. As we decided, there's a knock at the door. Is it a letter from home or a hotel servant? You open the door and freeze, stunned. Hello, Bronte. Before you stands Sophia, the girl who used to live next door. She is all grown up now. She looks so different, but you would always recognize those blue eyes no matter what. You gesture for her to come in. Sophia enters the room, glances around, and sits in an armchair. You eye the girl you used to know as you sit across from her, but the young woman you see now has little in common with the girl you used to know. There is cold steel in the way she looks at things. Her hair is cut short, but what is she doing here? I can explain. I've been living in Eterna for a long time now, ever since I ran from Anizote. I heard the other day that you'd left. I can't do a woman voice, by the way, and I'm not going to try. I heard the
Yeah.
other day that you'd left for the capital to get into the college, so I found you, and here I am. You ask how Sophia learned about your arrival and where you are staying, but she answers your questions with an enigmatic smile. We'll get to that later. Right now, I want to see how much you've changed since we last saw each other. As for me, I've changed a lot. I'm a whole different person now. You look away as you recall your previous encounter back when Sophia ran away from her Archnean master. Sophia chuckles as she continues. Would you like to know what happened next? I traveled through the entire empire all alone. I had nothing. My journey ended only when I reached this place, the capital, with all its important people and events. This is the heart of the empire. It's a place where I can make a difference. I've made friends here, found people I can truly call my family. I've even gotten an education of sorts, and I have a purpose now. I fight against injustice. I fight against the lots. I fight those who treat our lives like mud on the pavement. And no, I'm not afraid to tell you that. I came to you for good reason. I need help. I know you. I have faith in your good heart. And besides, this is also about the Imperial College you want to enroll in. There's a scholar there by the name of Bartholomew Dextra. He teaches natural sciences at the college. Dextra is an old man, but he's quite progressive. He'll stop at nothing to advance science and acquire new knowledge. So, Bobby, I just realized we're actually fighting for this world's equivalent of GNC. Very
Not
sad.
exactly, because they're all highly religious.
Mm-hmm.
Even if, like, she says progressive for Dexter, but I mean, Their only problem with the religion is the more Protestant thing that, like, oh, the churches are too awful now, and they are too they have this lots thing that they interpret as they want and not as it is. Because they don't deny that some people are made for certain other things. Like, they don't deny hierarchy. Sophia never says stuff like, oh, well, everyone should just be equal, like there should be no kings or whatever. She's clearly the leader. And they all still believe in the twins because they've seen them.
They just believe in emergent hierarchies, not in instituted hierarchies.
I think this is more just a fight between two competing vectors of power rather than like ideological.
Always has been.
I don't know. I think ideology is very similar to religion, especially today's ideology.
Ideology
So,
is a worse form of religion. Ideology is like a bad replacement. It's really only, in my opinion, it's really only a like, I don't want to say it's only a product because people have used it before, but like ideology kind of came into being as a way to fill the gaping hole of the most atheistic century we've ever had, which was the 20th century.
mm,
It gave people another way to organize socially, but it's not. Anyway, I mean, I don't know what to say about it, but as you know, only second-generation nobles or above are allowed to teach at the college. But Dextra, he is a commoner. He forged his patent of nobility to get a position at the college. But the secret chancellor recently learned of this. Dextra is about to face true death for this forgery. But how is that justice? A man who wants to teach people. And for this, they're going to take all his lives? They're going to punish him for the crime of being born in the wrong estate? It is evil and obscene, and I will not stand for it. Dextra deserves to be rescued. But I don't want to put anyone in danger, so I need your help. You're from a rich family. You're almost a noble. If you help me get Dexter out of the city, nobody will suspect anything. No one will know, and the scholar will live on to continue his research elsewhere, far away from the secret chancellery. Will you help me? You feel perplexed by Sophia's sudden request. She is asking you to break imperial law and undermine the work of the secret chancellery to save this scholar. Rescuing Dexter would be an adventure, but it would also be incredibly dangerous. And besides, Dexter is a fake noble. He resorted to lies and deceit to get his current decision. How much does this matter to you? Sophia's blue eyes are studying you, waiting for your reply.
hmm. Du-du-du-du-du-dum. What would Milton do? Hmm. What would he do? It's a very difficult
Well,
one.
Milton believes, in my mind, Milton's already like, fuck this government.
Yeah, he's mean. He's with Cromwell on this one.
Yeah, he's been radicalized by last night's events.
Yeah, by some right wing memes. He's a he's a frog now.
You promised to help
So
Sophia. Bartholomew Dexter does not
yeah.
deserve this. He has to leave the capital. She can count on you. I knew I could count on you. Then we must act at once. There's no time to waste. Dexter is to be arrested tomorrow. Here's his address. Go there as soon as the sun sets. No one will suspect you. Dexter often tutors young men for the college entrance exams. Tell him the owl sent you. Use the back door to get out. The carriage will drive up to the backyard. The driver will hoot like an owl. He'll take you to the south gate. If the guards stop the carriage, just talk your way out of it. Once you're outside the city, Dexter will ride away in a different carriage. You'll go back the way you came in. I'll meet you in Majesty Square. You nod to her words and your hands start to shake. You're about to go against the secret chancellor. You're going to help someone escape punishment. To defy your own lot like this. It's unthinkable. When the sun sets, you leave the lodging house and walk quickly, glancing over your shoulder repeatedly. Bartholomew Dexter's house must be somewhere around here. You find the place. A genteel old man opens the door. His face is covered in wrinkles. His shoulders are stooped, and yet his eyes are sharp and lively. Bartholomew Dexter looks at you for a moment, then asks why you've paid him a visit. You tell him you want to enroll in the college and are looking for a tutor. Dexter nods and invites you inside. Once you make sure nobody else can see or hear you, you whisper to the scholar about the real reason for your visit. The secret chancellor will be coming for him tomorrow, and he has to leave now to escape true death. Dexter freezes, then turns to you. How do you know about him and the secret chancellor? You tell him that the owl sent you and has provided for his escape. As for the secret chancellor, they want him for forging a patent of nobility. The moment you utter Sophia's name, the lecturer calms down and starts packing for the journey. You watch him distractedly and notice that he lives in a rather austere fashion. It does not take him long to pack. Hear the quiet clacking of hooves in the yard. Carefully, you and Dexter proceed to the backyard of the building. You see a carriage there. The driver hoots quietly. You get in. The carriage rolls down the road. There is a tense silence in the closed-off space inside the carriage. The scholar wrings his hands anxiously. Through the carriage windows, you see the massive city gate passing by. You are almost outside the city, but then a loud voice reaches you. Halt! The driver obediently halts the carriage. 2 city gendarmes approach you. You leave the carriage to face the gendarmes before they can get a peek inside the carriage. They look you over and ask where you are going so late at night. You tell them you are the son of a judge in Magra here to enroll in the college, and right now you wish to visit the estate of a newfound friend. To convince them further, you mention the name of a noble son you have become friendly with. The gendarmes release the carriage and wish you a pleasant trip. You drive along the
when did the police, like in America, get their blue uniforms? Was
Uh,
that always a thing?
no, it wasn't. Once again, this is a thing of after the Civil War. Police departments as a institution did not come into being until after the Civil War, when America really went hard on the industrialization. A couple of departments existed prior to the war, especially in major metropolitan areas. But for the most part, policing as an institution started when cities got really choked full of people during the late 19th, early 20th century. And so, yeah, they would wear these blue uniforms. Not all of them are blue, but prior to that, you had like the idea of a constabulary, of a sort of, neighborhood watch kind of thing. The militia was also a thing. You had county sheriffs and who would deputize people, but it was like one lawman per county. Like, so does that answer your question, Bobby?
Well, no. Why did they pick blue? Was that is it because of the like everyone has blue uniforms, like the Italian police, the Russian police, the American police. Do you know anything about that?
I mean, I don't know why they picked blue. Maybe because it stands out. The color particularly stands out in an urban environment. That's my best guess.
And they wear black out here. Someone says they have blackguards there.
Yeah, there's different uniforms for different, but the point of police is they have to kind of stand out. You have to kind of immediately recognize them, and they have to wear a color that's not commonly found.
Is that also a new thing? Like, did they have to stand out in early America?
No, not I mean, they stood out in early America by, the badge, by the badge of sheriff. You'd look and see the badge of office. But that was when. Go ahead.
You had like the sheriff and the deputy, right?
Yeah, you would have a sheriff and like maybe 2 deputies, and he could deputize people if he needed to. You also had the U.S. Marshals, which were kind of like federal sheriffs. They would be sent to towns to like be a sheriff until they could get a sheriff. This is where some of the great Wild West gunslingers you hear about come from. Wild Bill Hickok, Wyatt Earp, and his brothers. They were all U.S. Marshals. But and this was back when American society was still generally small enough to be considered quasi-medieval. America kind of had its own Middle Ages in the sense that it was a patchwork of really small, local communities, and then they kind of got centralized after the Civil War. Yeah, but that's kind of, I think that's kind of wise because, in cities, when everything kind of homogenizes in the city, everyone kind of dresses the same, and all the buildings kind of reflect, you need to have a cast of people physically excluded by the color that they wear, and I guess that's why they chose blue, because it stands out. But
Hmm.
you drive along the high road until you encounter a peasant wagon. Dexter will take it to seek refuge far away from the capital. Before the two of you part ways, he pats you on the shoulder and tells you that you have done a truly brave deed. You return to the city without incident. You find Sophia in Majesty Square as agreed, sitting on a bench by a streetlight, reading a book of some sort. She closes the book when she sees you and offers you her hand. So, did everything go according to plan? You nod. Then we've earned ourselves a bit of free time. Let's go. You set off on a walk through the maze of narrow back streets. Finally, you have some time for questions. What happened to Sophia over the last 2 years? She was just a girl before, a servant. How is she now a revolutionary? She smiles sadly. You've seen what I can do. I'm not just a girl. The Inquisition caught up with me when I ran away from Anizote. I ended up in the House of Humility, a dreadful place. I got collared. Do you know how it feels to lose your free will, losing everything that makes you you? She unclasps the tall shirt that had been hiding her neck all the time, and you see the round mark from the anti-magic collar. They say a scar like this will remain even after a lesser death, but I got lucky. Patriarch Junius Diamant saved me. Diamant took me and the other mages from the House of Humility and removed our collars. He made me one of his attendants. He taught me that there are no lots. He told me that I'm like this not because I'm a freak, but because it's my nature. He told me I can find a path to the twins like anyone else in the world. And then I was taken. I got out on my own. I found my own lot, to protect the common people from the noble yoke, to help others who are as unlucky as I am, to fight for a different world, a world where everybody has equal rights, a world where mages don't get robbed of their will just because of one aspect of their birth, a world where the nobles no longer tread upon the commoners. Yes, this is our dream, but we are still so far away from it, but I will keep moving towards it, and I'll stop at nothing. A strange, distorted expression appears on Sophia's face, but she quickly returns to normal. You keep walking until you're at your lodging house again. For a moment, you just stand there, looking at each other. Then suddenly, Sophia embraces you. For a moment, she remains still in your arms and whispers, "You should join my cause. If we work together, one day we'll become a force to be reckoned with. I know you came here to find your way, but I'll never believe you really want to bind yourself to other people's laws and desires for the rest of your life. The path I walk is dangerous. It's almost hopeless, but it's worth living for. Think about it. Goodbye." John Milton is John Milton is going to a vegan protest because he wants pussy. This is what this is. This is the equivalent of what
Just
this
not a
is.
few. I don't know. I think someone like there's another guy that we will meet later that's more like um that's more of a progressive type person than her, and we because this game was made by Russians, they in this game are talking about the way that like liberal Russians perceive liberalism,
Mm-hmm.
and this is kind of them, uh, as in they're not the big bads. They're not like the. I'll give you an example. So my dad was watching his lefty Russian YouTube media, as always. And there they were discussing the recent ban on LGBT material that Russia did. And it was like listening to lefties in 2011, 2012. Like, this was like reading Reddit before Gamergate. Which was before your time, I know, but still. And there, the guy was bringing up this idea that it was a daughter, or it might have been a son. No, it was a daughter. So a daughter said to her family that she was gay, or she was bisexual, or whatever. And the family, and the guy that was telling the story, he says, "Oh, well, we just didn't react to it. We didn't react to it. We didn't put any, we didn't punish her. We didn't encourage her, blah, 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 blah. And now look at her. She is straight." Now, this person that said all that, he is a Russian liberal. He identifies that way. He wants to see Russia be friends with the rest of the Western world. He wants to see Russia be, to a degree, subjugated. He wants Putin gone. He wants Russia to have liberal laws, etc. What he did not understand is that at that point, he was actually going against modern regulations. Because if, in today's kind of civic religion, if you say that if your daughter says that she is gay, then you need to encourage it. You can't just say, oh, well, whatever. And so he was kind of late to the party. This is why Sophia is not, or maybe this is why Sophia is not that progressive, even if she is kind of clearly meant to show the, this like rebellious youth that wants to be emancipated from everything. It's just because Russia is a little bit behind. So yeah.
Well, as we've said, Russia is always the last one to get all of the Europeans.
I will never forget that day.
Oh, here we go.
For it was then that I chose the path I would
I hope they prove it wrong
for the
this
rest
time.
of my life.
Oh man. Look at that.
There are only a few days left until the Imperial College entrance exam. History, law, theology. You spend all day reading and rereading the books you brought home or you brought with you, studying at the Library of Eterna for hours, sometimes until it closes. As the day of the exam approaches, your hands start shaking more and more, and then, finally, the day comes. A clear sky hangs over Eterna today. The breeze is warm. You dress in your best outfit, a gray jacket and velvet culotte trousers. You comb your hair carefully and polish your boots until they shine. You leave the lodging house and head for the Imperial College. Your legs grow heavier with each step. Your anxiety at the fact that your fate will be decided today is virtually tearing you apart. The college is a majestic building that looks not unlike a castle. In the square in front of it, you can already see several dozen people. Young men, sons of nobles of the mantle like you, waiting for the college's doors to open. Time slows to a crawl. At last the doors open. A stately man dressed in a professor's mantle appears at the entrance. He is the dean of the college. The students-to-be fall silent as the dean gets ready to deliver his welcoming speech. But the silence is interrupted by heavy footsteps and clanking armor. A squadron of warriors emerge near the college, led by Archnean officers. Their banner bears the image of golden grains. The noble militia of Monia province? What are they doing here? The nobles of Monia form a circle around the college, each warrior moving quietly and precisely until a chain is formed. One of the Archneans clad in an old-fashioned suit of armor. He is the leader of the militia. He locks the bar and the massive doors of the college into place, then proceeds to the stairs to address the crowd loudly. Agarius Monroe. How do you say this? Agarius Monroe.
Yeah. No, well, it's not Rouge. Rouge is written differently. You have a U before G.
Egerius, I don't know.
Egerius Monroe. That's fine.
Egerius Monroe. Okay. Commoners. Wait, I have to pick a voice for him. What's a? I've already done nasally noble voices. Bobby, go ahead. Pick a voice for him.
Let's see. Let's do the. Honestly, voices. I am the voice. So. Commoners, before you stands Egerius of the Monroe dynasty, Archduke of Monia. By my will, the college is hereby closed, and today's entrance exam is cancelled. Your lowly origins make you unfit for the great honor of rendering service to the Empire, a right that ought to be available only to the... they wrote out... A right that ought to be available only to the hereditary nobles of the sword. Go ahead.
You're a couple seconds behind.
Yeah, that's all right. The college's reputation has been tarnished. It breeds mock nobles who bear not a trace of noble blood. You belong in the lowly estate, but have forgotten your place. Cornelius Tempest and other traitors to the Empire are indulging you and defacing the institution of the nobility for their lowly interests. A noble lot for those of lowly birth. How can this be? I will not stand for this disintegration of the imperial order. Now turn away from the college this instant and return to the humble trades of your ancestors. Plow your fields, plow your wives, mend your boots, and work and suffer by your lot. If any of you dares to set foot upon these stairs, you will be killed at once.
The students to be meet this speech with a stunned silence. The crowd in the square is growing, however. The news of the Monian noble militia and the college's closing spreads through the streets like wildfire. More humans join the crowd. College students, commoners, officials who worked hard to be ennobled. Unrest grows around you. You hear people calling to rush Archduke Monroe's forces to take control of the college and defend your right to become noble. The Emperor himself gave us this right. We have to fight for it. This is a decisive moment for all of you. The old gentry has... they use the word gentry wrong again. The old gentry has challenged you. Will you accept this challenge? In the face of this shameful, illegal act by the Archduke's forces, you may prove that all of you deserve the noble lot. You will need to break through the cordon and get inside the college and take control of it. The nobles will never dare hurt you if your presence...
It's January the 6th.
January the 6th. If you are ready to risk it all and fight for your right to the nobility, you will have to lead the charge. People keep coming...
You predicted this.
People keep coming to the square in the meantime, including students and teachers from the Divine Seminary. The lot of the clergy is to guide others to the right path. When the estates clash, the priests are bound to intervene. The seminary teachers instruct their students to form a line between the noble militia and the outraged crowd. The priests began telling the warrior nobles and riotous commoners to return to the preordained divine order lest they provoke the wrath of the gods. The wrath of the gods. As the priests utter these words, the crowd around you disappears. A vision appears before your eyes. The empire is ablaze. You see burning lands steeped with pain and despair everywhere you look, rivers overflowing to extinguish the burning world, calmest day in Russia. You can tell that the soil is scorched by such fire will never bear fruit again. Most fertile.
The morning revelation.
Yeah, morning. Every Russian experiences a morning revelation of apocalypse.
Go to the grocery store, pick up your daily oatmeal porridge, witness the end of the world, and then it all begins again.
Just another day for Russians. The God's given vision demands to be heard, demands to be prophesied to the world, but only a priest may speak to the twins and for the twins. Will you keep it inside, or will you step onto the path the twins have revealed to you? Somebody shoves you in the back and you snap out of the vision. You turn around to see a small but decisive troop of commoners moving quickly through the crowd. They are led by Sophia. As soon as she sees you, she signals to them to stop. So you're here too, going to rush the college, are you? Can't you see it already? The laws cannot be trusted. They gave you the right to study here just to throw you a bone. When the going gets tough, your masters will take it all away. It's time for you to decide. We are the lotless, and we are not putting up with this system any longer. We will fight for a new world. Are you coming with us, or are you going to submit to them? There are students and professors locked inside the college. Who knows how long Monroe will maintain the siege? And what if they start slaughtering people? Neither group of nobles will care what happens to them. We're going to go inside and pull them out. Come with us if you're ready to take control of your own destiny. The tension in the square is palpable and the situation is about to implode. Students, commoners, nobles of the mantle, followers of the new faith, all of them are gathering their forces to move on the wall of soldiers. They expect the nobles to let them through en masse. Surely they won't start a massacre. The lotless, led by Sophia, prepare to break through the siege and to rescue people in the back of the college. And all the while, the priests preach peace to both sides of the conflict. The college is your only way into the nobility. Only you could fight for your new lot and fulfill your duty to your family. You could organize an offensive strong enough to get into the college and thus seize your lawful right like a true nobleman. Yet the revelation about the wrath of the gods still pulses in your mind. Once revealed, this vision will take you on a different path. Standing with the priests and preaching what you have just seen, warning all of the dire danger on the path of warring estates. Bringing the twins' word to the people and guiding them to salvation. Could this be your new lot? Sophia and the lotless, they expect you to join their struggle. They are waiting for you to cast off the old ways and the eternal yoke of subservience. If you choose this path, you will not change your lot, and your suffering will continue, but your suffering might just change this world. This is the moment. Your future life will be decided here and now. Hold on. I need to look at everything we missed.
Yeah, let's see.
So we missed this. Well, I mean, no, we haven't missed all of this yet. No, we still have to decide this. This ain't the end of the chapter. I
Yeah.
thought this was the end of the chapter.
It's not, no, of course not. It's like the middle of the chapter.
Yeah.
J6 plus Waco. Exactly.
All right, what
Break
are
through
we
the
gonna
code.
do? I mean, we're gonna do this.
He's got that magic pussy acting strange.
Which pussy got a nigga acting strange? Which pussy got a nigga writing "Evil be thou my good" in a poem?
Yeah, you gotta be careful that we're on YouTube. Paul.
You have decided.
well-
The storm of doubt in your mind clears at last. You are done serving the will of others. You will defy your lot, and you do not need another. You are free already, and for this freedom you are ready to sacrifice anything. You walk to the lotless as Sophia smiles at you softly. Her companions pat you on the shoulder, and then you get to work. The lotless withdraw from the mob in the square and prepare for the raid. They are song people of lowly birth, and their clothes are covered in dirt and soot. They hang on Sophia's every word. So, the plan is simple. I will go to the warriors by the side gate and distract them. You know me, I have my ways. The rest of you must get inside the college and lead the people outside. When you are done, wait for my signal. Sparks of yellow flash in Sophia's eyes. She walks with confidence the nobles guarding the side gate. They meet her with drawn swords, and then a flash of yellow light fills their eyes. The warriors freeze in place. Sophia walks away, and they follow her obediently. The path is clear. You hear one of the lotless gasp in awe. That's our owl, all right. Only she can do that. It's time. You open the gate and get inside the college, leaving the cries of the mob behind. Nobody stops you. Once this is done, you scatter to search the halls for students and professors. They are not too eager to trust the trespassing commoners, but with Arcnean swords hanging over their heads, they trust you anyway. Your student garb helps you convince them. You take everyone you can find out of the college to the same unguarded gate. The lotless take a roll call in an alleyway behind the college. You rescued almost 24 men. Sophia is the last to reach you. It is time to leave. The maze of hidden alleyways takes you safely to a patch of abandoned land. Sophia clambers up onto the half-crumbled wall of an old house. She lights her pipe and gestures confidently for everyone to come closer. Welcome all. We are the lotless. We are the people who will never stand for the injustice of the imperial system. We live as we see fit. We have no masters, only our own free will. Join our ranks and you will be forever free from the whims of the Arcneans and the gentry. Walk away and they will be free to do with you as they see fit. I believe today was a fair show of their intentions. The freed students exchange glances. If they join you, their hopes of being ennobled by the mantle will be cut short, but they already saw how precarious their position is. Many of them are enraged by the fact that the Arcneans can take their rights whenever they please. We won't force you to stay. You're free to leave and go back to the college when it opens, if it opens. But if you don't want to dance to their tune anymore, the lotless welcome you. Many students join the ranks
the eco is rapidly becoming the central figure in the Q protest. All the boomers are running after her. You know, the Monster Energy Zero Ultra is sponsoring this event.
So
you got Kid Rock in the background, of course. Whom else? Kanye's there. Milo Yiannopoulos.
Larry Elder has already endorsed it.
Yeah, there's the what's his fucking name? Steve Bannon is there with like hair dye running down his 300 chins. He's like this massive fucking Jabba the Hutt creature.
Rudy Giuliani has been interviewed 3 times about it.
Well, Ray Giuliani at this point is like he's a little fetish hanging on someone's neck. You know, he's like this dried up little head, like shrunken head that talks. At this point, it's like people.
We have joined.
People are donating money. You know, people are like cutting off pieces of themselves to put on the altar. You know, someone's getting bled out for this, like, you know, for the Monster Energy.
Bobby, we have joined.
Zero.
We have joined the mega movement, the make the empire.
The manga. Whoa!
No,
let's fucking go.
No, it's the mega movement, make the empire great again.
Yeah, make the empire great again. Exactly.
Many students joined the ranks of the lotless that day. You are among them. You are greeted by the motto of the lotless: "Our cause is just." Talk about a disappointing motto. Your new life has begun. Your life as a member of an outlaw brotherhood. There is no going back. You will be neither nobleman nor priest. Your father will never forgive you for letting the family down, but for the first time in your life you feel truly free. You have defied your lot. Now your fate is yours alone. What will happen next? You remain in the commonest state with no choice but to fend for yourself and make your own way in the world. Excuse me. You return to the lodging house one last time to gather your belongings for the move to your new home. A young man dressed in the uniform of the military academy greets you by the door. It takes you a moment to recognize Tomas. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Bronte, hey, how are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those jam gentry would do anything to keep low-born folks under their thumb. Glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academy cadet now. He is beaming with pride. You invite him in to chat while you pack. Thomas continues to relay the news as you walk up the stairs. I made it into the top 10, can you imagine? Did pretty well in sparring in the sciences. It was all thanks to the help you gave me back in school in Anizate. I'll be studying the art of war now. And then it's a quick march to a noble title. How about you? You tell Tomas about what happened over the past few days and the path you have chosen. He remains quiet as you speak. Both of you realize you may never see each other again. You know, Bronte, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. We gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever no matter what happens to us. Here, I brought 2 brass rings. If the old tradition is to be believed, both the rings and their wearers will always remain close to each other.
The friendship rings are a SpongeBob invention. I am sure of it. I refuse to believe that this was, like, ever real. This was a cartoon thing. This was invented by, like, Cartoon Network to sell, like, gold-covered, poisoned lead, fucking trackers for little kids so they could kidnap them and bleed them dry for adrenochrome. Like, was this actually real?
You know, Navalny brought SpongeBob to Russia. He also brought Rick and Morty to Russia and has ruined Russia forever.
No way he brought SpongeBob to Russia. What? I gotta ask that to my dad. I mean, look, Rick and Morty, very cringe. However, the guy that translates them into Russian is how to say it? He's highly trained in English, and his translations are very, very good. He translates for a lot of stuff, and it's like, you know, the top of mastery. I mean, that guy's good. Like, and his name is Sinduk, and Sinduk does very good translations, very faithful translations. And very difficult ones too. And he's also good with voices. He can imitate voices. So, yeah. But look, tell me about the friendship rings. Was that ever a thing in, like, England or America?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I never had one. The concept has existed, but well, I mean, no, yeah. The concept of blood brothers exists. That's. I mean, but yeah, friendship rings seems kind of fucking stupid. But, like, you know, you both you and your whoever you want to be blood brothers with, you cut your palm open and then you, like, mix your blood, which gives you, like, tetanus or something like that. But that's part of the fun.
That's an old thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe this is just like a gay modern version of it. But the two of you grew up side by side. Tomas, the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who used to live next door. You can't imagine your childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that your friendship will last forever no matter what happens? 2 rings made of plain brass lie in his open palm. If you wear these rings, you will be bound by the ties of friendship for the rest of your life. What should we do, Bobby?
Keep things as they are. I think we should keep things as they are. I don't like the gay rings. They seem a little bit weird.
You don't like the gay rings?
I tell Thomas to go and bring his ring to Michael Jackson's estate. Because Michael Jackson at one point, I mean, the biggest evidence against Michael Jackson for this, like, pedophilia thing, the only one that exists is that there's a video of this like the camera filmed Michael Jackson and a boy going to a jewelry store and Michael Jackson buying a friendship ring for him. And I mean, I am 100% sure this is like a cartoon invention, but maybe not. Maybe if I go and search up, like, look up friendship ring, I'll get like, in 15th century, Karl Otto von Sneedmark gave a friendship ring to Jose Leonardo de los Freemasones IV, a beautiful 50-carat blood-soaked gem ring and then they became friends forever, something like that. That's how the tradition got started. Mm.
European history be like.
Yeah, absolutely.
European history. Fucking Russian history be like Bolslav Boyar Vladislav II killed 5,000 peasants in order to get the
Yeah,
Tsar to give him a 2% less tax on his beard.
yeah, because one of the peasants stepped on his wife's favorite peasant. Exactly. Well, actually, so you had purity rings, right? And then you had pre-engagement rings. But they're given to romantic partners.
Yeah, so that
Um,
exists. We call them like promise rings. Purity rings is another word for it, but it's the same thing. Yeah, it's like it's like an external expression of like, hey, we some people call them chastity rings as well. But like the whole point of them is it's like, you are saving yourself for marriage, or you're saving yourself for your partner, or whatever it is. It's that's what the whole point of it is. So that's
mhm.
existed for a while.
Well, I suspect that people just gave each other jewelry since the beginning of time.
Yeah, in all
And
honesty, I think it just what does it mean? It doesn't really. I don't think it means anything. I think it's just like, well, I think it just means, well, I mean, I'm giving you this piece of jewelry for like to commemorate some reason or something. I don't fucking know.
look at Thomas's chest. What do you call this thing he's wearing?
No, so that is a what is it called again? I know what it's called. It's a throat guard, gorget. That's what it is. It's a gorget or a gorget or something like that. It used to be a piece of throat armor, but then it became a ceremonial thing, a
Mm-hmm.
symbolic thing, which kind of tells you
Exactly.
that you can't ever do a medieval game because you've got combinations of like mid 19th 20th century armor on like 15th century armor.
Yep. Yep.
You do not take the
Mm.
ring, but simply pat Tomas on the shoulder. The two of you have walked side by side ever since you were children. These years of friendship will always be there, but nobody knows what might come next. The two of you are walking different paths in life now. Why make promises you may not be able to keep? For now, the two of you are friends, and that is all that matters. With a sigh, Tomas puts the rings back in his pocket. Yeah, you're right. Nobody knows what's going to happen to us. Okay, then, let's not make any big promises, but at least we got tonight, right, Bronte? How about we take a walk downtown and talk about old times? He's like, yeah, bro, I think the rings are kind of gay. And he puts them away. You wander to the banks of the river Reglata. The breeze blowing from the bay feels cool and gentle on your face. With a car, you can go anywhere you want.
Exactly.
You
Well,
recall the
yeah.
first.
Yeah, well, Thomas. After this encounter, Thomas will always remember how he tried to give you a gay ring, and he would cringe, and he'd seize up, he'd wake up in cold sweat, like fuck, what was I thinking?
There could be there could
What
be
the fuck?
there could be Archeans here, he thought.
Yeah, there could be arches here.
You recall the first time the two of you fought in your school days and all the adventures and escapades you had. Before you know it, the sun is set. You say goodbye to each other. You don't know if you ever meet again.
Yeah, you recall the first time you felt the gentle breeze on your chest.
You write a letter home and tell them you failed to get into the college. There's no other way. Father would have learned everything one way or another. Oh boy, it is an easy letter, right? He did not send you the capital specifically to intend. He did send you the capital specifically to intend the college. You write about Archduke Monroe's assault and the students' doubtful future, that their right has been ennobled by the mantle, maybe revoked. You tell them that you plan to get a job in the capital and earn a living. They should accept your choice. The reply from your family arrives very quickly. We sent you to the capital with a sole purpose, but you failed. Indeed, nobody expected an attack on the college, but you could have upheld your right to study there had you been more firm. Cornelius Tempest will ensure the college opens again, yet you already rejected the nobles' lot. And to what end? I can only accept your choice now, but you will no longer receive any support from the family. It's up to you to earn your keep. I can only hope that you will not disappear in the capital. This entire siege incident is nothing but a poor excuse. You failed to uphold your right to enter the college, and that is the end of it. It cost father so much time and money sending you capital, and you rejected it all. And for what? To remain a commoner until the end of your days? I hope you would one day become my equal, but now the very thought of this is just absurd. There's another letter. It's from Gloria. It seems neither father nor Stefan knew she sent it. Sir Robert smashed a vase when when as he read her your letter. Stefan screamed at the top of his lungs about lowborn and foul bloods. Fortunately, I led Mother and Nathan away before we got into trouble. But I'm proud of you. You defied Father's will and went against all expectations, against the entire rotten system. You made this decision, now follow it to the end. I believe this path will lead you somewhere worthy. Take good care of yourself, my brother. My father hates me. My brother hates me. My sister just loves me.
If they were to, like, ever update this game, I think a path as a woman would be crazy.
A path as a woman.
Really, I'm telling you, it could be very interesting.
That would be a separate game, man. It'd be a whole
Well,
separate
yes,
game.
it would be like a completely different game because everyone would behave themselves differently towards you.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably have to grow up earlier. But I think this is the one of the very few places where, like,
have you ever played?
They could do. Yeah.
Have you ever played Kingdom Come Deliverance?
Yeah, but I didn't like the gameplay.
I'm sorry, I fucking loved the gameplay.
Yeah.
Everyone who shit talks the gameplay, everyone shit talks the game. They're like, oh, it takes me less time to learn how to use a sword than it does to learn how to use it in this game. And I'm like, dude, you just didn't play the game. You suck. You didn't realize that actually your character does suck. And, like, you're just slower and your gameplay is bad because you literally, like, your character will die if you do not spend time in-game training. Like, yeah, sorry, I just, I never had that problem. I actually picked up on the swordplay very quickly. I figured out how it was. You actually do need to continuously do what you have to do in real life. Replay tutorial missions. Hit the dummy. Hit the captain. Use all the dialogue trees to do perfectly timed counter strikes and all master strokes, all this other stuff. You need to raise your skills in game, and and run away from combat. It's realistic. You didn't want to play if you want to play a game where you can kill like level 100 shit at level 1,
go play Mountain Blade.
Yeah, go play fucking Mountain Blade or go play fucking Skyrim. But Kingdom Come Deliverance is meant to be a simulation of you are a peasant with all of the, downsides of being a peasant put into a world beyond your understanding. You literally need to learn how to read in the game. So you need to spend time like building, repeating stuff. That's how real life works. I adore Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I think I didn't like. Also, I didn't like that it happened in Bohemia instead of Russia. I kind of wanted
I wanted it in Russia.
I wanted it to be in Russia. I wanted to have another Stalker game.
Well, but the reason I mention it is because they have a DLC called A Woman's Lot, where you do play as the woman after your character saves her from the rape in progress and in the first couple of seconds of the game. And that I think was a really unique thing because it's like a historical portrayal of what, it's literally called A Woman's Lot is the name of the DLC. And it's a short little story as compared to the rest of the game. But I actually really liked it. I thought it was really unique what they tried to do at the very least.
Did it have like the fact that the woman is weaker than even the weakest man?
Yes.
Or something?
Yeah, it did. They did that pretty well. You can't really fight at all. But anyway,
you can probably stab people.
You can
with your nails.
You can also like sneak up behind and drive a dagger into their throat. But like
yeah, you can't really stand in a sword and shield fight against a 150 kilogram massive knight with with plate armor. It just kicks you and you die.
No, you can't. I digress. We've been sitting on this screen for a couple of seconds, and
go ahead. The Lawless.
I have to. Yeah, you cast one final glance over the room where you lived for so long. Here's the table at which you sat studying all those books. Here's the bed on which you dreamed your dreams of the future. Your things are packed. You walk down the stairs. The landlord's servile smile is gone now. The unspent remainder of the funds allocated for your accommodations drop onto the counter from his reluctant hand, then he turns away. You have no lot now. You are free even from the knowledge of your tomorrow. You have cast away your destiny, but for what? This remains to be seen. The Bronte family will support you no longer, but you have to find a play to stay in the capital so you can aid the lotless, and so you seek Sophia. I'm afraid I can't offer you a noble estate, but we found a basement in an abandoned house and made it into our home. It's on the bank of the Reglata by the riverport. It's livable. It's only one room for everyone, so bring your own bedding. But it's warm, clean, and we have food and a place to keep our things. You'll be safe. After all those carriage rides, going through the city streets on foot isn't half bad. The bayside wind still gets under your skin, but it also cools you down on hot days. Not that you need it. You were born in Anizote, the very southernmost part of the empire, and the hot season in the capital is nothing compared to the real heat in Magra. Oh, so we're a southern boy.
We're Sicilian.
You recall all the
right?
We're Italian-speaking Arabs.
Yeah.
You recall all the hot days in the garden, sitting with father and talking about the lots, about your future in the capital. He used to look at you with such pride. He was so confident you would follow in his footsteps. A chilling gust of wind snaps you out of it. Enough nostalgia. It's time to face the future you have chosen for yourself. The house where the Lotless live is close to the port. The basement entrance is hard to find, but eventually you locate it. Inside is one large room with bedding and belongings strewn about all over the floor. You find some free space in one of the corners, so you place your bedding and your things nearby. Then you get a good look around. There's only a handful of people in the building. You introduce yourselves to them. They show you the utilities, a small kitchen, a room with a stove, and several buckets of water. If you need more water, the river's right nearby. You ask them how long they have lived here. About 8 months, one of the Lotless tells you. They look over this basement back when they had only 10 members. Or they took over this basement back when they had only 10 members. Most of them were more or less homeless, disowned by their families, expelled from the college, academy, or seminary. Sophia found a place where they could live together. Everyone sleeps in the basement and meets in the abandoned house above. Sophia certainly is thoughtful, you intone. That she is, your fellow Lotless says, nodding. She takes good care of us, but she's also really secretive and demands that we follow her orders to the letter. Even after all of those months, nobody knows where she lives. She only shows herself when she deems it necessary. Soon you come to know the Lotless better, and you see that they truly believe in what they are doing. At present, they are trying to expand their ranks and convince the common folk that the present order in the Empire can and must be fought. You can do this. You have to believe you can do this, and you have to do whatever Sophia says. Damn, we're whipped. We're listening to a woman. Some of the students you rescued are also here. With their arrival, the ranks of the Lotless practically doubled. The events at the college turn them against the current system. They are eager to act, and so are you. Sophia meets with every newcomer in private. It takes a few days before she finally speaks to you, too. Sophia is sitting at a desk behind a pile of papers. She looks worn out, but still smiles at you. Hi, there's a reason I wanted to talk to you last night. There's a reason I wanted to talk to you last. Our ranks are growing, but not everyone is as smart and learned and cunning as you. I need results, and I expect to get them from you. We have to tell the common folk the truth about what happened at the college. It doesn't matter how we do it. The Lotless will never forget, and we will never forgive the nobles for what they did. We have to tell people we exist, and we have to recruit new members. I know you can think of a way to do both. I expect to report in 1 week at our next meeting. Good luck. All right, Bobby. We've got like 15 minutes left. I wanted to get through youth today and set us up for peacetime next week. So I might start rushing through this a little bit more, broad strokes, and see if we can make it to the end of the chapter. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Are you okay with that? Bobby? Is Bobby still?
Hey, Paul.
Oh. What's up?
Yeah, sorry, my internet died. I don't know what's happening.
Your mic
I
died?
don't know. But look, we're very close to our 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
So we'll continue on the. I have the phone.
Okay. It's all good. Well, anyway, Sophia wants us to go out and all that. We're going through the city streets. Any of you watching, you can pause this and read the slides. Oh, we're going to find a printed press. Oh, Milton's going to start printing pamphlets. Talk to the Lotless to anyone willing to lend a year. The more reliable option, after all, tend to be better than words on paper. It's more dangerous, too. And then there's number 3. The city is still abuzz. Somewhere out there on those frantic streets are people willing to heed your call instead of wasting time. And perhaps you should focus on recruiting. Okay, so Bobby, I'm not even gonna look at this. We all know what Milton's gonna do.
Well, what is he going to do?
Print leaflets. He's gonna
of course.
Pamphlets.
Well, yeah, pamphlets. Oh, he's going to write the latter-day pamphlets.
It's exactly what he's going to do. Printing leaflets is the
Wait. You know what? Wasn't Carlyle, the one of the people that wrote Latter Day pamphlets, but he wasn't the only person who wrote things called Latter Day pamphlets.
I mean, I can Google it real quick. Latter Day pamphlets.
No, I'm sure you'll find that Milton. Poor Milton. Shit. What's his name? Carlyle. That it was Carlyle who wrote things called Latter Day pamphlets. But Latter Day Saints, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like that's a Protestant movement, right?
No, it's not. The Latter Day Saints are a bunch of fucking weirdos who like believe God was once a human and that at the end of their life they become gods or can become gods like God and all the they're also known as the Mormons. Latter Day Saints and Mormons are the same thing. They're trying to rebrand as LDS instead of Mormon to kind of disguise themselves a little bit, but no, they're just weird. They're the polygamy guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so we're going to go find a place to print pamphlets. Local newspaper called Imperial Sunrise, and well, guess what? The Archnians consider us dirt beneath their horses' hooves. They will do anything to bring us down and stay in power. Do you know what happened at the college? Did you hear the Archduke Monroe mocking humans and threatening to kill anyone who entered the college? We did. Did you see him ready to kill innocent students inside the college before they were rescued? We did. Archnians think they can do whatever they want. Will you keep on living under their thumb, or are you ready to make a change? This looks good. Sophia takes a look too and nods. She writes a brief note on the piece of paper and tells you to head for the editor's house. Give the note to the servant and everything will be ready. Editor lives in a wealthy neighborhood. Servant opens it, and he says it will be ready next week. You return 1 week later and retrieve a big stack of leaflets. You divide them among the lotless. It only takes a single day to distribute them all. Rumors quickly fill the streets of Eterna. On the following day, you already hear people talking. The nobles have done it this time. We better do something. It's time for a change.
Oh, the leaflets did their job.
They very much did, and we were praised. And now we finally have the 20 manipulation that we need and the 16 diplomacy.
Receiving leads to master manipulator.
We're only halfway through. You've never fucking mind.
We're very, very adept in being sly.
You've lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common and state. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict, forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for the regular members, and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. You remember the woman. Her name was Annie Syrian. She made a speech before execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she's about to leave this world forever. Annie Syrian takes a look before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die. Annie, the Magra will rise again, Bobby. Magra will rise again. Annie claims others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just.
What's the name of the Foma? Right? Was it the Protestant priest? Right? Yeah, Foma predicted this.
So true. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks the lever and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Uh-oh.
True death. True death.
Order has been slightly restored, but power is decreasing.
Do you always sacrifice power for order? Probably not.
You only sacrifice power for order when power and order are no longer unified. Power and order, at the rise of an empire, power and order increase and go hand in hand, but then it hits a certain high water mark, and then you either have to choose between power or order, right? One comes at the cost of the other. The ranks of the lotless are growing steadily now. Yeah, social order is out of date. We're all good Protestant solemn Calvinists. How can we change society without taking up arms? It sounds like a dissident right group chat. How can you defend those who suffer at the noble's hands? You write several articles for a newspaper that is sympathetic. You covered the pages of the Imperial Sunrise with freedom-loving ideas, but before your words reach the prince, you let Sophia read them. So yeah, we're straight up Milton now. We're just writing pamphlets.
Yeah. Were they revolutionary pamphlets in Milton time? Did he write like
Yeah.
some weird stuff about like heaven?
Oh yeah, no, he wrote he so here's the thing, pamphlets in the 17th century, imagine them like Twitter shitposts or like Substacks, right? They were like biopunk Substacks. Milton wasn't the only one writing them, but he was one of the more prominent ones for the Calvinist Puritan side. And
Were they illegal?
Some of them were, some of them weren't. You know.
And how did they spread them? Did they like stand outside in mascot like costumes?
I mean,
Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and style.
I'd assume there was some of that. Usually they were spread through like word of mouth secretly. I'm sure you have people standing on street corners handing them out. You have to understand, like back in those days, there wasn't a lot for entertainment, so people would just read this shit because they had no other things to do. And then you'd have, I'm sure you had town criers just reading them out too. Well, so
imagine being a town crier going through your daily stack of newspapers and you stumble upon like some shit posts and you're reading them on autopilot and then slowly dawns on you what the fuck what the fuck am I reading?
Yeah.
And then you have the local guards that are coming around the corner with their little sticks raised, ready to pummel you.
I'm sure that has happened before. But Sophia's calling us to action, and no one's telling her she's fed posting, but she is in fact calling people to action. Oh no, she's naming dates. Oh no. Mages are gonna be murdered. The Inquisition's collar takes everything from you.
Yeah, she's gone.
So basically, we're doing what the commies did, and we're freeing all of the prisoners.
Mages are the true lawless.
So true. Basically, she's fed posting, guys. She's calling for us to attack the equivalent of a federal building. She's like, oh, we're not going to wage war on them. We're just going to hold a march to support the mages. We will seek the support of Junius Diamant. He says those who wield magic have the same rights.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's terrible.
Yeah, it's like.
Mage,
go ahead.
Mages are horrible in this case, right?
Yes,
They're all evil except for one. There's like one mage that you meet that isn't bad. Most of them are just uncontrollable school shooters.
So true. I wonder...
in a way, this is the Chad genocide. This is like the Chad rebelling against the virgins and like BTFOing them into oblivion. Oh. Man, Sophia would never date a mage.
It's so true.
She's absolutely, there's like the joke that she looks like she fucks human males, where like people post some like drawing of like a cute fantasy creatures, and then some fucking troglodyte up in the comments, right? She looks like she fucks human males. Well, Sophia looks like she fucks inquisitors exclusively.
Yeah. What is it? So basically, she's got people to leave because now it's become serious. But yeah, basically, we're trying to get the attention of Junius Diamant. It's only the two of us. Dark Rings, She talks to me about the Legion. I don't want to scare it, but I think if they have trained legionaries guarding the square instead of prefecture gendarmes, the soldiers won't stand it. People might die during this march. Oh boy. But the plan is ready. Many people have joined the Lotless, but we still don't have enough. We need to attract people on the streets to make the march stronger. She has two ideas. We only have enough time to implement one. We could call upon commoners. Alternative, we could seek support amongst the clergy and nobles, you know? So she looks
Ooh,
up
elite support.
elite support, or so what are we going to do? What are we going to
I
do?
think elite support is a good idea, but it depends on whether Milton would cast his lot amongst the elites or the peasants.
What would Milton do? And this will probably be the final decision we make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in terms of RNG, both of these are okay. Well, Bobby, you know, let's figure this. So, between these three, Milton would 100%. Like, Milton was basically he liked the nobles and the clergy, but he liked the ones that were, like, you know, on his side. So I think this is the Milton choice. But does Milton want some pussy? All right, is the question.
Yeah, but doesn't he love Sophia?
I mean, he does. Both of these, I think, are equally valid. I just don't know which one.
I'd say the nobles and the clergy, because he'll show he loves Sophia by mobilizing the nobles and the clergy. As we talked, you know, like on Telegram, I told you about the study, and like when a woman is outside of her ovulation cycles, she prefers to sleep around. To lessen the aggression amongst like small communities. So apparently, Sophia wants to get more. She wants to fuck around. So that's why it's all about that. You know, it's not about the revolution. It's not about, you know. She doesn't really believe that everyone has to be lawless. She's just like, man, I need. What did female Austrian painter say on Twitter? We're women. We are genetic laboratories. We like run around and collect genetic material from all men. And you can either live with it, or you can like die. Die childless. Something like that.
That's some. I think that, you know, like. Maybe there's something to it, but I generally think it's bullshit.
No, it's cringe. It's cringe. But Sophia looks like one of the women that would say
Sophia
that.
looks like she is Radfem Hitler. She looks like she is the person who is Radfem Hitler.
Sure. Okay, let's go ahead.
Well, we improve our diplomacy and our theology. All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to stop right here. And
next time,
until next
I want to get Cringe Walker or Sandy. I think it could be cool. I think it would show that this stream to some other sneedsters in our midst.
Sandy will not. Sandy, what is it? Sandy will not be here. I guarantee you that. But maybe Crane Volk will. But we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
He would have been here if not for our Friday move.
Well, I'm doing something tomorrow that requires me to be up early, so I just it was either now or I didn't do it this week, and I wanted to do it because I have the rule I can't play this game when I'm not streaming with you, Bobby. So I can't see the end of it yet. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed. Hopefully next week we'll finish. Man, this is gonna be a long series, Bobby. I just realized this is gonna be long.
Yeah, but it's awesome. You're a great host.
Well, I appreciate it, Bobby, and you're an outstanding co-host. It's wonderful. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you all have a very good afternoon, very good day, Mr. Bobby. I hope you have the same. And
bye bye.